Overall, this show was pretty good. I'm Joe Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite, and while I didn't love everything, the flow from beginning to end, way more positive than negative, and man, some things really had me jazzed up. So let's jump right on into it, but please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I thought this show had a way better flow compared to last week's that had a few positives, but was one of the lesser versions of Dynamite, in my opinion. Anyway, Ricky starts with, Hook! Why did Giovanni say it like that? I will never understand it. Took on Adam Hangman Page. And I like Paige. I hope that they can rebuild Paige correctly so when he takes the title off of Kenny Omega, that seems to be what they're aiming for, that it doesn't backfire, because Paige really can be the guy and be a long-running champion for them, but only if they do it right. Ricky Stark's a tremendous heel, and these two had a very good dynamic. Taz joined commentary because Team Taz affiliation. Good way to start off. I really enjoyed how Paige dominated first. Ricky's like, hi, I outsmarted him, and oh, he hit me with a springboard clothesline. The fall-away bridge pin, that was beautiful. Paige was really innovative with his offense, but then Starks slams him into the ropes, takes over, targets him for a bit, did an awkward springboard where Paige caught him with a lariat, but it seemed like Ricky rolled his ankle. Hopefully he's all right. If he is hurt, give him a couple weeks off to let him relax it and rest. He can cut promos and everything because Starks is just that damn good of a talker, and he really is somebody they can build on for a number of years. And then he hit a Liger Bomb for 2. There was a nice lariat. There was, the beautiful spear out of the, countering the buckshot. That was very good. But eventually, Paige got, flip into a choke and then grabbed the ankle. He got Ricky from both ends. And let me tell you right now, whenever you get it from both ends from another man, you are going to tap out for good or bad. Always delete your search history, by the way. And don't ask me how I know that. But Paige gets a victory. But then they can't leave well enough alone. This is my issue with AEW and hell. This is my issue with a lot of wrestling in general. They can't leave well enough alone. They have to have an aftermath even when it doesn't call for it. And I get sometimes you need to build up another match for next week, but I don't know. Just they overdo it, and it just gets to the point where I get kind of numb to it, like where I'm like almost surprised that they don't do it. Anyway, Hook chop blocks Paige. It's a 2-on-1. Cage comes in and Dark Order runs them off. Don't hurt our buddy. So there you go. That's about it. Brandon Cutler is filming the Elite as they go into their own trailer. Oh boy, more bad comedy. So then we get Trent with Orange Cassidy, speaking of bad comedy, versus Penta with Alex. I don't remember the guy's last name, but I will tell you right now, Alex with Penta, he's a great spokesman, translator, and man, he's got that punchable face, but he's so goddamn smarmy. He's really good on the mic, and he adds a new dimension to Penta's character. Here's my question, though. Can they make up their mind whether Death Triangle are faces or heels? There's a lot of factions in AEW. There's way too many. There's way too many in New Japan, and there's way too many in AEW. Sometimes New Japan gets the faction stuff right. In fact, more often than not. AEW, there's putting people in factions just for the sake of it. But anyway, it's a quick start. Dive by Trent that almost completely misses Penta. Penta comes back with a destroyer. We get Trent tries to do the Ray Stevens bump in the corner and almost showers his ankle at one point. Penta then drops Trent right on his head, and then a pile driver on the apron that completely misses. This match was not very good. I did like the finish, though. Alex gets on the mic and says, Penta says, he's talking to Trent, says, you suck, your friends suck, and more importantly, your mama sucks. Well, there you go. And then OC gets in the ring after Trent grabs a chair and is going to attack Alex, and Alex is in the ring, but then Penta kicks him. Then the referee's distracted by that, and then Mike shot to Trent, package pile driver, 1, 2, 3. There you go. Alex and Penta are a good duo. I didn't care much for the match, but I like where this is going. Don't fuck this up. You have something going here. Who knows? They might pull the plug on it really soon, but I think Alex and Penta are a really good duo. And anyway, then we get JR sitting down with the Pinnacle and Spears. I'm sorry, but Spears just doesn't... Nothing against the guy. He just doesn't belong. Anyway, MJF talks about Jericho, and he gets a gift from Tully. It's Silk season, not Silk stocking season. Thankfully, that show sucked. Wardlow said that. And then Wardlow talks about Jericho's botch, where he said he had a $1 million brain, a 10-cent body. Wardlow's like, because you knew you were messing up and you don't want to mess with me. And then MJF talks about the Jericho rub, claiming that Jericho wrestles popular people and then takes credit for their increased popularity. He's like, I'm not a mark for you, I'm a mark for your spot. This is pretty good stuff. Tully also wasn't there. Hopefully Tully is just resting, because MJF can cut the promos. If Tully doesn't want to but doesn't want to appear all that much, that's okay. And they're hyping up the blood and guts thing. Anyway, Ty Conte talks about being nervous but ready to face Shida. Shida says, you are great, but you will not be champion yet. He will be champion soon, but not yet. And then we get Tai Conti versus Hikaru Shida, AEW Women's Championship, referee Aubrey, and more of this, please. The women's roster is not stacked top to bottom with talent. They are stacked, but I digress. There are some women that are never going to be fully ready for TV. There are some women that are pretty damn good. We know the end game is for Britt Baker to take the title off of Hikaru Shida. That being said, they did a pretty good job convincing me that Tai Conti might actually beat her. Now, Big Fight feels one of the best women's matches I've seen all year. It doesn't top what Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker did in that Lights Out match. That's still one of my favorite matches of the year. But this is really good. Well wrestled strikes, knees. Ty, throws some great knees throughout the match. And of course, we get, the women taking turns scissoring each other from behind. And who doesn't love to see that? In the ring, nowhere else. Need to go delete my search history after this. But anyway, the suplex, not the brain buster on the floor. And Tai Conti's holding her midsection because that probably hurt landing like that. And then Shida, was targeting the core and head. And does some really good stuff. Really nice pump kick counter after a suplex inside the ring. And throws, kicks, a senton on top of Shida while she's on the ropes. And then Falcon Arrow for 2. Nobody kicks out of the Falcon Arrow. Witch's Shot? Is that what it's called? What the fuck was that name? She just puts Shida and throws her on the goddamn, top rope. And then she just bounces off. Why? It's not that these women aren't tough. I just don't know why you do that bump in general. That was just a little bit much. But anyway, Tai KO for 2. We get really nice, we get back elbow. We get some really, really good strikes. But eventually, Katana knee, 1, 2, 3. Shida and Conti cut a, really good pace here. Really good match. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to know what you guys have to say because they need to feature the women more like this. Britt Baker shows up and she, has the graphics department in cahoots. And she is the #1 ranked wrestler. Push this out to the pay-per-view. Let Britt have her moment on pay-per-view. Don't do it on TV. More people should see it on pay-per-view. Yes, more people will see it on TV, but I think Britt's crowning achievement should be on pay-per-view. And she has been a great champion. They should have been giving her more matches like this. I know the talent level is the talent pool is a little bit shallow. That's not the fault of the women. It's just the women that they've signed that need more seasoning. But seriously, Shida should have been having matches like this. Not week in and week out, but at least more often. But good stuff, and Britt's going to take the title from her. Miro then says another week and no Kip. I don't care who you are. If you've got a championship, you've got a problem. But which championship do I take first? If only they hadn't torpedoed Miro already. I hope that they can rebuild his character, but it's already become pretty obvious that, yeah, this may not be working out all that great. But hey, if he's fired up, if he can get out of this and actually do something good with it, good for him. Anyway, Shivani interviews the Inner Circle. And Dad Bod Jericho needs to hang it up soon. The promo was okay, but it wasn't great. He doesn't have it anymore. He hasn't had it pretty much since he signed with AEW, but he definitely hasn't had it for the last year. It's going to be a Trail of Tears for the Pinnacle. He said Trail of Tears a lot. He had very bloodshot eyes. I don't know if he needed clear eyes. Wow. Or if maybe he was coming off of a bender. But anyway, Hager talks about the Pinnacle sucking meat. It's at this point that I realized that there was a reason Jake Hager, a.k.a. Jack Swagger, a.k.a. why the fuck does this guy think that he can talk on television? He can't. Why the fuck is he there? Seriously, he's not really all that good in the ring. Anyway, Santana's fired up, says, we're going to see the size of your heart. Sounds like they're going to rip it open, and Kalima. So anyway, Jericho then tries to sing and rhyme about MJF and fails. It's going to be a parlay next week. They're going to discuss their battle plans. They're going to face off. Inner Circle needs to win this. Or Inner Circle needs to lose this, rather. The Pinnacle needs to win this. I would have been all on board with the Inner Circle winning if they hadn't been torpedoed as a group, and if I gave a shit about more than just, say, Sammy and maybe Santana. Nothing is Santana and Ortiz are a fine team, but Sammy and Santana are about the only two I care about. Ortiz has just been kind of a goof. do things right and at least blow this off correctly, and maybe I'll, change my mind. But the build of this so far hadn't been that great. It started fine, and then they rushed it too soon, and now they're kind of just limping along. But it's going to be in 2 weeks. So anyway, QT's group talks about Billy, and Ogogo says he's here to earn big money. Billy Gunn versus QT Marshall in 2021. No. The Factory, black and white. It's the Nightmare Family versus the Nightmare Factory. Does anybody care about this feud? I don't. Billy's kids basically jump Camarado and Solo and fight them to the back. And then the referee ends up being distracted by QT. Ogogo runs out, punches Billy with the liver punch, and then QT hits the cutter 1, 2, 3. Why was there a wooden beach chair under the ring? Oh, for a contrived spot. Because Ogogo gets in the ring. Here's Dustin. He has a bull rope, so naturally we're going to get a bull rope match with QT. Watch him do that on pay-per-view. That'll put butts in seats. And the chair gets shattered over Camarado's head, which is cool. Kind of remind me of what they did with Big Bubba Rogers, years and years ago. What's old is new again. It's a cool spot, but I didn't care about this match. Nothing against Billy, nothing against QT. I just didn't care. And then the Elite are in their trailer, and Cutler's behind the camera. Callis, I don't care about Callis. I don't care about any of this Elite stuff. They're a t-shirt brand. That's all they are. I know some people like them. That's fine. I'm not saying you guys can't. They just don't interest me. There's a horn honking outside, and Omega's getting annoyed. I'm amazed that he could hear the horn over his loud shirt. Mox and Kingston are in a big truck. They ram the truck. They get a big pipe, and suddenly everybody in the trailer's gone. So obviously this was a pre-taped thing, or the way they taped this, it was just ridiculous because it was obvious the Elite were not in the goddamn trailer, because if they were, they would have been stumbling out of the goddamn thing, and they didn't. I know what they were trying to go for here. And Mox and Kingston, bless them, they're doing the best they can to get out from under the stink of that end, of the end of that Revolution, barbed wire, exploding barbed wire death match fiasco. But they're a good team. They're friends, but this doesn't interest me. This is where the show started to go downhill. Now, I'll pick back up, but this is the point where the show started to get into a mode I didn't care about. Anyway, I do like how Mox did call him Bitch AF, because apparently he's been hanging out with Renee Young a whole lot. And Renee tends to talk like that because she loves to swear. Christian Cage versus Hobbs. Taz joins commentary. I love Christian Cage, but if his contract is longer than a year, they're wasting money. He doesn't have much left. I credit him for wanting to get back in the ring, but it's not going to work. At least long term. He's going to do some... Him and Hobbs had a fine match here. Hobbs did what he could. He, let's say, if the front door doesn't get you, the back door will, says Shivani. Hobbs uses power. He tossed Cage around. Frog splash by Cage for 2. And then he tried for the stampede. Hobbs did, but he got cocky and then got hit with the kill switch 1, 2, 3. And since Team Taz was banned from ringside, we didn't get a melee afterwards. Wow. Refreshing. Anyway... Next week, Penta versus Orange Cassidy. Statlander versus Penelope Ford. The Bucks versus the Seidel brothers in a world title eliminator match. Or tag title eliminator match. Dustin, Billy, and Lee Johnson versus QT, Solo, and Camarado. Pinnacle and Inner Circle Parlay. And Cage versus Paige, mainly on the stage. So Jade is looking for a manager. She should get one for now until she gets more comfortable with promos. I don't know who her manager is going to be unless they bring somebody else in. Don't have it be Vicky. Vicky hasn't done anything for Nyla. She ain't gonna do anything for Jade. Then Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin with Sting. They brought their own dinosaur to the ring. Yeah, that's mean towards Sting, but Sting is 61 years old with a bad neck, and I love Sting. It's Sting, but no. If I'm gonna complain about WWE having ancient guys there, or New Japan having people past their prime still in the ring. Sting, they're paying him a lot of money and good for him, but got to call it like I see it. TNT Championship. That being said, good match. Very good match. Very good stuff. Start slow, feeling out process. We get some nice mat work at first. We get a rail spot while they went over it, and then we get a superplex during the break by Darby. But then a German and a Tiger suplex, both for 2. Jungle Boy really has improved. But him and Darby cut a really good pace here. This almost was going to be on my favorite matches of the year list, and I'll explain why it isn't. I mean, I might change my mind, but it's just like this and the Shida Ty Conte match, I'm, going back and forth about whether they'll be on my favorite matches list. But anyway, good back and forth. It was more of a body scissors, but kind of into a Poison Rana. Please stop doing that, no matter what company. And we get outside. Jungle Boy dives 3 times. We get a coffin drop on the apron, hardest part of the ring. And then basically Jungle Boy nearly got counted out. And then so we get the Dinos facing off, Yesting and Luchasaurus, and I would have my money on, the referee basically saying, hey, guys, get away, Sting, you don't want to break a hip, and Luchasaurus, you're probably going to just injure somebody. Anyway, so we get a brain buster, we get an elbow to the back of the head for 2, and then we get the snare trap, rope break, he gets a surfboard on him, Jungle Boy keeps going for that snare trap, and then Darby, because of the variation, is able to get an eye gouge, gets the last upper pin, 1, 2, 3. And then Scorpio Sky and Paige, Ethan Page, attack. He goes edge to Darby. Here's Archer, double low blow, and then here's Sting to run everybody off. There was some good stuff on the show. The run-ins and the melees and the aftermaths and stuff like that, just too much. It's too much stuff. They got to reel back on that. They had good elements here, and overall this was a better show than they've had recently. But it could have been even better. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retland. I'll see you soon.